Good morning. I'm Clar Rosso. I am the CEO of ISC Squared, and it is a privilege for me to be here today with you to help kick off Secure Japan 2020. I hope I find you, your families, and your employees safe and well. On behalf of the ISC Squared Board of Directors and our entire team, I want to thank our ISC Squared members in Japan and all of you who work in a cybersecurity capacity for everything you do every day to keep our organizations and systems secure globally. We appreciate it. Last month, ISC Squared held its Security Congress. It was virtual for the first time, and we had about 6,000 attendees. It was my privilege to be able to give a welcoming address at that event as well. And what strikes me as similar between both of these events is how you, the cybersecurity community, remain committed to your professional development during these difficult and uncertain times. I really look forward to the day when these events are in person again and we can meet directly. As you know, I joined the organization in October, and the past several weeks have been very busy and exciting ones as I've worked with our board, our leadership team, and our staff to help chart the future of this organization. Every strategic conversation is designed to ensure that we are relentlessly focused on enhancing member value, advancing our certifications, ensuring that you have the professional development you need to remain relevant, and advocating for you so that you get the recognition you deserve in the marketplace with government bodies and with enterprises. These strategic principles apply everywhere our members are, and especially in Japan. Our organization's focus, our purpose, is inspiring a safe and secure cyber world. Working with input from members, leaders, chapters, staff, our board of directors and leadership team have developed the following strategic framework to help catapult the organization forward and deliver on our purpose for our members, the cybersecurity community, and the public good. These pillars are a focus on excellence, promote competency globally, advocating for members in the profession, and enhancing the experience. I'll just take a moment to say what I mean by each of these. When we talk about focusing on excellence, it's really about how do we implement a sustainable business model that amplifies results and ensures ISC Squared's expertise meets global marketplace demands. How do we ensure you and your certifications remain relevant? When we talk about promote global competence, we're really talking about making sure that we as an organization deliver comprehensive and innovative products, services, and experiences to stakeholders to stay relevant and engage in lifelong learning. Advocating for members and for the profession is really about advancing ISC Squared as the leading global cybersecurity professional association. And finally, enhancing the experience. This is all about you and ensuring that your ISC Squared experience is unparalleled and that we're meeting your needs as members and meeting the needs of the greater cybersecurity community and our other stakeholders. So you can look forward to a lot more information in this area in the months and years to come, but we have some exciting things coming up ahead. So while 2020 we know has been a very difficult year, I am pleased to report some good news that has happened during this pandemic. Globally, our organization surpassed 150,000 members with more than 4,000 associates in 175 countries, and we have almost 160 chapters globally engaged in furthering the needs of the cybersecurity community. We're seeing exciting growth throughout our regions. Asia Pacific recently surpassed 20,000 members, and Japan is just one of 3 economies that has more than 3,000 members. That's more than Australia, and it's just a few hundred members behind China. Given its progressive technology, innovation, and adoption, Japan is one of the economies at the forefront of the cybersecurity revolution and has our commitment to support moving forward. We see tremendous demand for cybersecurity expertise, certification, and professional development. The demand is so great, in fact, that we took the step earlier this year to introduce the first Japanese language courseware for our CCSP Cloud Security certification and made the exam available in Japanese as well. Our sincere thanks go to NTT, who helped us in these translation efforts. Across Asia Pacific, we are working hard to engage government agencies, ministries, and other organizations. We will ensure there is strong awareness of ISC Squared members and the role you play in strengthening cybersecurity throughout the region and globally. We are very excited about this continued growth, especially during a year like 2020. As we grow globally, we are working more closely with governments and private partners around the globe. This year, we established strong relationships, signed MOUs, or secured formal recognition of our certifications with all of these organizations. I'd like to highlight our partnership with the Tokyo Metropolitan Police Department and with NTT-AT. We are collaborating with each to ensure their employees have access to cybersecurity training and are on a pathway for the CISSP and the CCSP certifications, respectively. We also have seen new recognition of our certifications this year from UK NARIC, equating our CISSP certification with their master's degree standard, to the Australian Signals Directorate, including our certifications in their governmental cyber skills framework as suggested skills to develop. Also, the Australian Women in Security Network have named ISC Squared as the best security certification provider of 2020. Members, chapters, and board members have been critical in helping us establish ties with the right groups, all focused on advancing cybersecurity. There are so many great organizations out there trying to help solve the problems we face in cybersecurity. And in many cases, our partnerships start off with members who are engaged in these organizations and bring them to ISC Squared for consideration and support. We are proud to continue expanding relationships with these partners. I know you heard previously this morning from Dr. I.G. Kawana, CISSP. We are privileged to welcome him to our board of directors in 2021. He was recently elected to the board, and his term will start in January. Kawana-san has had a distinguished 36-year career at NTT, and we are privileged to have his insights from the industry and from Japan as we build our strategy for the future. No conversation of where we are now can be had without recognizing the impact of COVID-19. I want to provide a brief update on how ISC Squared handled the crisis. Despite having to close our physical offices around the world, we were able to quickly mobilize our entire workforce and respond to the crisis. We maintained our service levels for members while reimagining critical vital functions to deliver exam updates on time to ensure credentials remained relevant and aligned with the latest practices, tools, threats, and changing cybersecurity landscape. We knew many of our members were home and unable to attend in-person training and events, so we provided easy accessibility to quality virtual professional development and CPE. And as I mentioned earlier, we continue to make great progress with our advocacy program, forging partnerships with organizations around the globe. We also remain focused on doing our part to support candidates pursuing certification. That included steep discounts and extended access to online learning and courseware. We also waived cancellation and reschedule fees for any exam impacted by COVID-19 lockdown procedures, as well as extended exam vouchers. And I'm actually pleased to report that the number of candidates in our pipeline has actually grown during this pandemic time, and Asia has led that recovery. I want to highlight for you today some of the insights we've been able to attain through research efforts in 2020. As you know, the ISC Squared Cybersecurity Workforce Study is conducted annually to assess the cybersecurity workforce gap, better understand the barriers facing the cybersecurity profession, and uncover strategies that organizations can use to recruit, build, and strengthen their cybersecurity teams. It provides insights on these talented individuals who are excelling in this profession, securing their organization's critical assets, and advancing in their careers. This edition continues tracking the number of cybersecurity professionals currently working in the field, along with the gap, which helps us understand the scope of the challenges the industry faces. This survey was conducted in Q2 of 2020 and included several questions measuring the impact of the pandemic on cybersecurity professionals and their organizations. We also asked some questions about the value of certifications for all levels of employees, including the C-suite, and some additional questions about consultants who make up a large portion of the workforce. Here's what we found. First, it's staggering to look back and see how suddenly and quickly most organizations were forced to make the decision to move their workforce to a remote environment. 1/3 of our respondents told us that they moved to a remote environment in a single day. And more than 3 out of 4 respondents said their organizations were moved to remote work in less than a week. Previous research also told us that 47% of cybersecurity professionals were reassigned during this time to help with the remote work transition, taking them away from their typical security tasks. But here's the good news. It's encouraging that only 18% of cybersecurity staff said that they saw an increase in security incidents during this time. That's especially encouraging because 34% of the respondents had told us they felt that they were at increased risk due to their new remote working environments. We think that this highlights the impressive job that the security community did in responding to these unprecedented and daunting challenges. This slide shows the current cybersecurity workforce estimate in bold. And then if you look at the number in parentheses underneath, that's the gap by region. Using the workforce estimate of 3.5 million professionals in the field and the gap of 3.1 million professionals, we estimate that the global workforce needs to grow by 89% to be fully staffed. You can see that in Japan, you're in a little better position. Japan is estimated to have just under 250,000 professionals working in the cybersecurity space and is looking at a gap of about 92,500 professionals. This means that Japan's cybersecurity workforce needs to grow by roughly 42% to close the gap. We also asked our survey participants about certifications and skills. You can see here the top 11 certifications held by our participants. We also learned from talking to them that 49% of participants are required by their employers to hold a vendor-specific certification, such as Cisco, Microsoft, AWS, and 47% are required to hold a vendor-neutral certification, such as CISSP or CCSP. And not surprisingly, if you look at the right side of our slide, given the shift to the remote work because of COVID, cloud security has become far and away the area that most cybersecurity professionals are interested in developing their skills over the next 2 years. 63% of respondents said that they are planning to pursue a cybersecurity certification in the next year. But who should be pursuing them? Our respondents feel that certifications are valuable at every level of a cybersecurity team, from C-suite to those in the trenches. While the value is slightly higher for staffers and managers, 95%, than the C-suite, 84%, participants feel that C-suites can benefit from certifications as it helps them develop and communicate security strategies. Additionally, the benefits of staff and leadership holding certifications were similar, with increased confidence and ability to meet challenges in the top 2 reasons for both groups. You can download the full workforce study and see more details about our findings on COVID-19 or how organizations are dealing with filling their employment gaps, or check out our other studies on our industry research page. As we continue to adjust to this new normal in our personal and professional lives, it's important to remember how adaptable and resilient cybersecurity professionals are. This pandemic is not over, and yet the men and the women tasked with protecting our infrastructure and networks have proven that they are more than prepared to face the challenges that they encounter. I want to thank you for your time and your attention and for the privilege of being able to speak with you today. I hope you have a wonderful event and that I have the chance to meet you in person soon. Thank you for everything that you do.